Welcome to the Lex Buds and Pick and Roll podcast. I'm one of your two co-hosts, Brandon.
And with you as always is Tyler.
Tyler, you and I were talking right before the show. I am jacked up about this episode. There is so much to cover. And what episode number is this?
This is episode 53. This is the NFL roster edition.
Ooh.
Which ties in well with the NFL draft, because a NFL roster can have 53 players. So, episode 53, the NFL roster edition of Lex Buds and Pick and Roll.
I absolutely love it. I think that's fantastic. Tyler, we've got to talk some big UK basketball news with a decommitment, the NFL draft, the Kentucky Derby. Governor Beshear is in the news as well. New York City opening up. Randy Quaid's in the news, and I can't wait to talk about it. And one really exciting topic that I think is going to be really big for us over the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, is your upcoming article and breaking down the top players in John Calipari's Kentucky basketball tenure. I'm jacked, man. That's going to be fantastic.
We've got some great stuff, and you didn't even mention what may be my favorite topic of the week, which relates to Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Oh, yes.
So if you are a fan of Sabrina the Teenage Witch and Melissa Joan Hart, stay with us, because we're going to be... Who knew when we started this show that Sabrina the Teenage Witch would one day be a topic, but here we are nonetheless.
Yeah, Tyler explains it all. See? Do you like the Melissa Joan Hart reference I just gave?
Very, very good.
Tyler explains it all.
I think that's the only other Melissa Joan Hart reference that can be made. I don't think she did anything else other than those two shows, did she?
Does she need to?
No.
She's probably cashing those checks, that mailbox money. Oh, my mailbox money's here. Go get it. Okay, I'll take that. But a lot of stuff to cover, but the biggest thing we need to cover, Tyler, is how was your week this week?
Oh, well, another busy weekend, highlighted by just a few hours ago. We had a nice family outing to Rupp Arena, not for a basketball game, but for Disney on Ice.
Ooh, nice.
So we got to
I like that.
We got to see Mickey and Minnie and Aladdin and Anna and Elsa and
I bet your kids ate it up.
everybody.
They ate it up, didn't they?
They loved it.
Oh, my gosh.
Listen, there is something about Anna and Elsa, though. I don't know at what point that became the biggest Disney... Would you not agree that is by far the biggest Disney movie?
Let
now?
it go.
Oh, my gosh.
Let it go. Tyler, when I hear that song, I get excited.
I love that. It's fantastic.
Whoever wrote it needs to be retired on a beach somewhere, because that song is infectious, and there is something about Anna and Elsa just across the board. They have taken over.
Yeah, it's not Cinderella anymore. It's not Belle. It's not Snow White.
Nope.
It is Anna and Elsa. I mean, every little girl there who was dressed up was in an Elsa costume. It's crazy.
It is amazing, but it's also a very good movie. Now, they made a Frozen 2 movie. I don't know if you saw that yet or not.
I have not.
Not as good.
Yeah, the first one, though, was great.
The first one, the music, I mean, I know all the words to those songs because I've watched my kids watch that movie about 50 times. At minimum.
Yeah.
Very memorable, catchy songs.
Yeah, and it's not just the one good song. There are several good ones in there besides Let It Go. And then you got Olaf, the snowman, talking snowman.
You know, Tyler, if you and I ever run for politics, somebody's going to take this last 30 seconds that we just had and run it as an ad. Do you want a snowflake that likes Anna and Elsa? Rah, rah, rah. Then vote for Bill Cummings for circuit court judge. You know what I mean? It's going to end up in an ad. They'll be like, do you want to vote for people that like Frozen? I'll go on the hill and die on it for Frozen. It's a great movie.
I will too. That would actually encourage me to vote for someone if they came out and said they liked Frozen.
So that's on your platform. You look for gun rights, taxes, and Anna and Elsa.
Yes.
I'm making notes on this now. This is great.
Let it go. Do you want to build a snowman? I mean,
that's a great campaign slogan. Let it go. Something bothering you? Let it go.
Let it go.
I agree.
All right. Well, what's been going on with you, man?
Tyler, really busy week. I spent my entire Saturday digging things out of the ground, trimming hedges, planting flowers, and just spending a lot of time at Lowe's. I feel like whenever you go to Lowe's, you're required to spend a minimum amount of money when you come out the door. Like if you go in for a garden hose, okay, I'm going to go get a garden hose.
Yeah.
Well, no, you're not allowed to do that. You have to get a garden hose, you have to get weed killer, you got to get a couple flowers, and you got to get some other stuff. You come out there, minimum spends $100. It's like Costco. You're not allowed to go in there without spending that amount of money.
Yeah, I always, when I go into Lowe's, I just feel like I'm so intimidated because there's so many aisles. I can never find anything. I don't think I've ever been in there and found something that having to ask somebody where it is. I'm just very, maybe it's just me.
No.
Because I'm not, my wife will be the first to tell you, I'm not the most handy guy with the toolbox and the things and the nails and the hammers and those doodad sorts of things. I'm just very intimidated going into Lowe's.
Yeah, I totally get it, and I know exactly where you're coming from. One thing that I thought about the last time I went into Lowe's was, my Lord, I hope I'd never have neck problems later on in life, because you have to look up 10 feet in the air to see the little signs that say, like, glue, fencing, doors. Okay, nope, that's not it. No, nuts, bolts, screws. Yeah, no, that's not it. You know, you got to look up 10 feet to be able to see these little signs, and there's a ton of them. There's like 40 different aisles.
Now, I will say, Lowe's does need to catch up with the Home Depot, because on Home Depot's website, you can type in the item you're looking for, and it tells you what aisle it's in.
Ooh.
It tells you the aisle and the row, the shelf. It even tells you the shelf that's
So
on.
Lowe's doesn't do that?
Not that I know. They didn't the last time that I tried to use that, and Home Depot did.
Interesting.
So I actually prefer going to Home Depot because I don't have to ask people where
Lowe's
things
has got
are.
to step up their game.
I
Lowe's
agree.
has got to step it up. Well, Tyler, I think we just dig right into it. As per the norm, we're going to break the show down into 3 segments. We're going to do a continuous run on this like we've done in the last couple episodes.
Okay.
But we're going to talk sports, news, and then, of course, what we talked about earlier, the UK basketball rankings in the John Calipari area. I'm really excited about that one.
It's going to cause some controversy.
Well, that's what we do, Tyler. We stir the pot, the proverbial pot. We're like a witch at a cauldron. Is that what it is?
Yes, witch is the cauldron.
Witch at a cauldron, and we're stirring up our brew, and our brew is these topics.
Is sports, Kentucky basketball.
All right, you ready, Tyler?
Well, let's go. What you got first?
Tyler, top 30 recruit, and at this point, Kentucky's only point guard for 2021, Nolan Hickman, announced his decommitment to the Cats. How are you taking the news, and are you worried about the point guard position, or do you see this more as a sign that something better is coming?
First off, when I saw this news coming, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. I mean, we are. Well, it's May. We're
pretty far along.
Just a few months away from the fall semester starting. So, I mean, this hit me pretty hard. I would be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed and a little frustrated. And, you know, and then I have to look myself in the mirror and say, okay, why am I getting angry at the fact that an 18-year-old kid decided he wanted to go to college somewhere? Why am I getting so upset at an 18-year-old? And
Okay.
so then I have to do some self-reflecting on that. I guess it's good that if he realized he was going to be homesick, that he realized it now, as opposed to
buy that, though?
As opposed to
Now,
December.
wait a minute. Hold on. Do you buy that? Honestly, homesick. I mean, that's. I'm not saying it's not his real excuse. I'm just saying, couldn't anybody say that?
Well, sure.
What if he ends up going to a school that's nowhere near his home?
Well, that's
what I worry
That's going
about.
to be the sign. Yeah, if he commits to Duke or somebody like that, then we'll know that was a bunch of malarkey.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes, because when I first saw this, I was shocked, first of all, because I thought he was locked and loaded in, and he was the only point guard we had. So if I'm Nolan Hickman, I'm looking at that saying, wow, I'm the only guy they got. This is great.
I'm the dude.
So then I put my thinking cap on. I like to put that on every now and then. And I thought, well, what would make him leave?
Can you get that at Lowe's?
You can get that at Lowe's in aisle 25, shelf B, subsection D, R3.
Nice.
But, it just got me thinking, maybe he knows something else is coming that we don't know about yet. You hear rumors with this transfer portal. We've heard 500 rumors, and I'm about sick of them. I just want to wait till the roster's done. When they get their photo, I can go and get the poster and put it on the wall.
Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago when all the mainstream UK sports media came out and said, "Hey, this is going to be a big week for UK basketball. Like, watch out, some big news is coming." And we're thinking, all right, Orlando, some new recruits. So far, the only things that have happened, we've had 2 assistant coaches leave. We had Olivier Sarr declare for the draft, and we've had Nolan Hickman decommit. We've not gained a single player, and we've actually lost 2 coaches since all this big news was supposed to come.
Yeah.
Which leads me to believe, when it comes to recruiting and this stuff outside the program, people don't know. Like, even people that are well-connected with recruiting, you don't know what's truly happening with the kid.
And let's be honest, with this transfer portal, it has changed the game. We do not know now. Nobody is really connected. I don't even think the coaches are connected in the transfer portal. They know if they reach out to somebody for interest. They know if there's some initial interest. But there's a reason we stay quiet on this, okay? Because there is so much uncertainty right now. If we put out something that said, oh, yeah, XYZ player's coming for sure, check next week, it's baloney. We're not going to lie to our supporters. That's not what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. We don't know. I'm going to wait till the poster comes out and they're all sitting in the chairs in the front row and the guys are standing in the back. And I'm going to do that with the coaching staff, too, because I'm still waiting, in all honesty.
Yeah. Now, what is your confidence level right now? Now, you kind of hinted at, okay, maybe Hickman got word that another recruit or transfer was coming in. How confident are you in Cal finishing out this roster with a solid point guard?
I'm a little nervous. I want 2 point guards. We don't have any. So if we get a commitment from a point guard, be happy about it, but just know we need more than one.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, that's a big thing.
Yep.
We're not looking for one. We're not looking for just Ty Washington to come in and save us. No, that's not it at all. You have to have 2.
Yeah, and I think that's what we kind of had with Hickman, and then you assumed we get a transfer. You're like, okay, at least one of these guys would pan out, or if we got Ty, you figure out of 2 or 3 guys, at least one of them will pan out. Well, now as you said, we have 0.
Right.
And when we do get somebody, assuming we get somebody, we're putting all our eggs in that basket.
That's a hell of a basket
for whoever it is.
It makes me nervous, Tyler. I would be more confident if I hadn't seen our recruiting wane over the last 3 or 4 years. Something's happened. I don't know what it is. I don't know if Calipari got comfortable. He hired his boys as coaches, for a few years. You do that at Kentucky, things start to slip. I think maybe he's starting to realize that, I can't just hire my buddies. I got to get something done here. I can't just sit on a cushy job making $25,000 a day. You know what I mean? It just can't happen.
Yeah.
You got to get serious about this stuff.
Who would have ever thought back when he had the 3-year run of John Wall, Tyreek Evans, and Derrick Rose, that we would have a 3-year run of Ashton Hagans, Devin Askew, and right now
nobody.
Nobody.
It used to be what was it? Kentucky's not for everybody. Now it's like, can it be right for somebody? Please, anybody? Just one? Hopefully, we'll take one at this point. Something's changed. It's got to be fixed. I think Calipari's noticing it. That's why you see the coaching changes. He's got to get off it, get serious, and get with this. This isn't an autopilot program. This is you got to take the bull by the horns and ride it all the way.
Agreed. If we're going to have any success next year, we've got to get a point guard and got to get one soon.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Brandon, one of my favorite non-actual sporting events took place this past week, which is the NFL Draft. One of my favorite 3 days of the year.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I am mesmerized by all things NFL Draft. But this year, we saw 6 Kates drafted, which I in my lifetime I don't think has ever happened.
It's a lot.
Highlighted by Jamin Davis going in the first round with the 19th pick. I sound like the commissioner. With the 19th pick.
Absolutely. So you sound just like him.
Going to the Washington football team. We had Kelvin Joseph going to the Cowboys in the second round. We had, 3 guys picked in the 6th round and another picked in the 7th round. Brandon, did you get to watch the draft, and how exciting is it that we are seeing cats all over the draft boards now?
Look, I love the draft. I think it's one of the best days of the year besides opening weekend of the NCAA tournament. I love the NFL draft. I think it's an awesome event, seeing all the players at their homes, getting the phone calls and their parents and their family freaking out on the phone. It's so cool. But to have 6 players drafted is great. To see Kentucky's name show up, and represent the SEC. We used to have one-off players like Tim Couch or somebody like that and be like, okay, we got a top 10 pick. This is great. Now we can turn it off after the first 2 hours. No, now we've turned it into a whole 2 or 3 day event, which is really cool. I'm excited for everybody. I didn't really know Jamin Davis. But, he just came on the scene for 1 year.
Oh, yeah. This time a year ago, I'd never heard of Jamin Davis.
Yeah, exactly.
For being honest.
So just came on in 1 year. So I don't really know him. I don't feel a connection there. So it's hard for me to get super excited. But just overall seeing the program put 6 players in, you think that's not going to be in a recruiting video somewhere? You're crazy. Stoops needs a statue outside of Kroger Field. I'm saying it right now.
Already putting up the statue.
Deserves a statue for what he's done.
Wow.
It has been insane what he's doing.
Well, and speaking of recruiting pitches, I saw a very cool graphic that showed how many players were picked kind of by colleges. Let me give you just a quick list of schools that Kentucky had more draft picks than in this draft.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this. Okay.
We had Kentucky, University of Kentucky football.
I'm familiar with that.
Had more draft picks than USC, Oklahoma, Oregon, Clemson, who was in the national championship game, Texas, Auburn, Miami, and Florida State.
I mean, it's unbelievable. It's crazy.
Did you ever think you would hear that statement, that we had more picks in all those programs?
But look, I think it's only going to keep getting better. You know what I mean? It's going to keep building on itself. And if Stoops stays here, I'm telling you, the guy needs a statue. They should give him a statue while he's coaching. The guy's killing it. He's doing things that I never thought were possible at Kentucky. I knew we could get the one-off players. You know, we could get some of the higher-rated kids from Kentucky. But pulling in kids from out of state and consistently just putting them out on both sides of the ball. You know, offensive line, D-line, D-backs, all that. It's not just one specialty position. You know, we went through a period there where we had some really awesome quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. It's not just quarterbacks. It's not just running backs. We got them all over the field now.
That's a great point. I mean, we had 2 defensive tackles picked. I mean, we're getting offensive linemen. Like you said, we've had the quarterbacks. We've had the skill positions every now and then. Usually when it's just somebody locally from Kentucky that comes, but now we're seeing guys at every position.
We're beating
picked.
teams on the line, Tyler.
Yeah,
on both sides.
Yes,
those are the areas we used to get absolutely killed, and now we're changing around. I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, great recruiting pitch, and from what I'm seeing, next year could be an even bigger. I mean, I think I saw somebody tweet out like we could have 8 to 10 guys drafted next year, which would just be crazy.
Absolutely, Tyler. If you ask Bob Baffert why he's feeling fly, he would say it's the funky cold Medina spirit. Tyler, nearly 52,000 fans packed into the Kentucky Derby Saturday to see Medina Spirit come home a winner. Tyler, your thoughts on the day, the winning horse, and having a gigantic crowd at a sporting event?
Damn, you stole my funky cold Medina reference.
Oh, I knew you were going to get it. That's why I said, if I don't do it, Tyler's going to do it immediately.
Yeah, that was really the only thing I had to say, so I'm not sure what I'm going to say.
You want to move on to the next topic?
No, just kidding.
It was a really fast. It was faster than the other horses. Moving on to the next topic.
Yeah, imagine that. The fastest horse won. I mean, Bob Baffert has just now established himself as the best trainer in the history of horse racing. His 7th Derby win. And I thought it was hilarious after the race. You know, they of course run up to him for an interview, and he even says, like, I can't believe he won.
He wasn't supposed to win.
No, like usually when they interview these trainers and owners after the race, they're like, oh yeah, we kind of knew all along if things went the right way that this horse could win. You know, he had a great run. Bob Baffert just like, I'm shocked. I can't believe he won. Like you never see that.
He looks like he just found $5 in his couch. You know, it's like, oh crap, this is great.
Yeah, found a 5 in his winter coat from last year or something.
Exactly. No, it was great. I was actually glad to see the large crowds. How none of the horses were wearing masks though, and neither were the jockeys. Were you concerned about that?
Well, neither was the crowd. I mean, yeah. In all honesty, what I think this Derby is going to be remembered, and the topic of this coming week is the fact that nobody there was wearing masks. I mean, there was 50,000 people. I saw lots of people wearing masks around their chin and their necks, which I guess, you know, they're going to have a nice tan line right below their chin now. But I think that's the big storyline.
How are you going to eat a hot brown and have a mint julep in a mask? You can't do it.
That's
you can't
true.
do it. I mean, let's be real.
But then my absolute favorite thing, did you see the picture of Tom Brady at the Derby?
I did, yes.
And have you seen all the comparisons?
Yes, he looks like the guy from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Judge Doom.
Oh, my goodness.
He's fixing up some, was it the stew or the...
Yeah, it was the green goo that
he would melt the tunes in.
It was great.
He looked just like Judge Doom.
What a good movie.
It was kind of creepy.
Jessica Rabbit, that was one of my first crushes. Absolutely loved
Jessica Rabbit.
But I was glad to see the Derby. I'm glad everybody came out. It felt like I felt like the state of Kentucky, which, by the way, the ratings for the Derby are in, and it is insane. 15 million people watching.
Saw that.
That is a huge number. I feel like the state of Kentucky and the Derby may have helped push people along to say, okay, we can get back to some sense of normalcy. I think the Derby could have done that. A lot of people watched it, and a lot of people were there. I don't know.
Yeah, going back to we went to the Disney show Rupp Arena. it was nice just to be back out with the crowd. They had limited capacity, so there was like a row or two between where we were sitting. And by the way, the renovations at Rupp Arena are looking very nice.
Really? Can't wait to see
It
those.
already looks like a
back
different.
in.
It doesn't look like a manufacturing plant anymore outside.
We'll have to check that out. All right. Good to know. What we got next, Tyler?
All right, Brandon, I have a new segment for us.
Okay.
We're going to play a game, and I'm going to call this 100 Emoji or OK Boomer.
Oh, great. I can't wait.
So I'm going to read you a quote, and you're going to tell me, if you read this online, would you reply with a 100 emoji or OK Boomer?
Okay.
All right. So this is from Golden State Warriors head coach Steve Kerr.
Yes.
Who, after his team got waxed by the Minnesota Timberwolves and were out-rebounded 57-34, Coach Steve Kerr went on a rant in the postgame show about how there's a lack of boxing out and fundamentals in today's game. So here's the quote. He said, "This is the modern NBA. Guys don't box out. It's just the way it is. Every night on League Pass, I see the same thing. It's a disease in the NBA. Most of these guys didn't have a high school and college coach yelling at them for a combined 8 straight years. It's a different world today." And then he goes on to talk about some other things. "The detail is often the thing that is lacking. Every night on TV, I see teams let a guy run past them in transition for a layup. If you did that 25 years ago, your coach would take you out and he wouldn't play you again. Now everybody does it, and as a coach, you can't take everybody out." Brandon, 100 emoji or OK Boomer?
Tyler, I'm very conflicted on this one. Let me just say that, because I'm going to say 100. I'm going to say a 100 on this. All right? I don't care if I'm called a boomer or what. I'm not a boomer, first of all. But let's break this down, all right? Steve Kerr has made a lot of money and won a lot of titles off guys that don't play fundamental basketball. Steph Curry takes 3 steps across the half-court line, dribbles for about 30 seconds, or not 30 seconds, dribbles for about 10 seconds, and flips up a 3 from the hash mark.
It somehow goes in.
So Steve Kerr saying that, I'm not buying it. If they're winning games, Steve Kerr's not saying this, first of all. Now, he is correct that players aren't boxing out. It's kind of half, I was going to say a bad word, but it's just halfway done, right?
Yes.
But the reality is you can take them out if you want to. Why can't you?
You're the coach.
You're the coach. You can do whatever you want. So I don't buy that either from Steve Kerr. I think he's a hypocrite for talking about fundamentals, yet playing and making money off guys that clearly don't care about the fundamentals, right? Which one is it, Steve? Tell us.
Yeah, I think that's the big point here is there's no way he would have said this a few years ago when they were winning multiple championships. The fact of the matter is they're struggling this year. And I think he's frustrated and was letting out some steam. But, yeah, if you're winning, you don't make these comments. As far as whether they're valid or not, I'm giving this one a 100 as well. To me, NBA basketball is unwatchable because there are no fundamentals. There's no help defense. It's just I'm going one-on-one against my guy. There's very little boxing out. There's very little to no effort on defense. I mean, you see the scores of these games. It's like 140 to 135.
It's pretty entertaining,
in a regulation basketball game.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
And as somebody who used to coach, middle school basketball back in my day, I mean, even starting at middle school, when kids are just going out and warming up and shooting, they're running straight to the 3-point line. That's all they want to shoot. That's all they want to practice is 3-pointers.
Yeah.
And, maybe you can say, like, that's where the game is headed. And for a while, Golden State was considered the future of basketball.
Easily.
Yeah. So, I mean, who knows what the right answer is. But to me, I have to agree with Steve Kerr because it is frustrating for someone, and maybe you can call me a boomer, that enjoys seeing fundamentals and help defense.
But is it hypocritical, though? Isn't it a little hypocritical?
Oh, 100%.
Okay. All right, we'll move on.
Yeah.
All right, Tyler, what do we got? Let's see. So if you haven't followed us already on social media, check us out on Twitter at LexBuzz. We're a very entertaining follow, if nothing else, would you say? I mean, we try to entertain our followers. especially during the sports season, right? We put up some unique perspectives on things. But follow us on Twitter at LexBuds. You'll enjoy it. On YouTube, just type in the word LexBuds.
Yep.
And really on your internet machine, right? I just call them internet machines now. Now I sound like a boomer.
Okay, boomer.
Okay, boomer. Just search LexBuds. We're going to pop up. You can find us at lexbuds.com on Facebook. Just type in the word LexBuds. We're the only ones showing up when you type that in. Just so you know, I've tested it out. That's it. We're the only show that's doing that.
And even Instagram. You know, I found our Instagram password. We hadn't posted anything in over a year.
That was big.
And so we are now becoming more active on Instagram. So make sure you give us a follow on the IG as well.
Dude, did you say the IG? Is that what we got to call it now?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We're still working on getting our Pinterest account, but maybe.
Yeah, we're going to sew something here in a minute. It's crazy. Tyler, let's go to some news.
All right,
I don't know if you're ready for this.
Okay.
So Governor Beshear announced last week that people can gather in crowds of less than 1,000 without needing to wear a mask. Tyler, does this change your daily routine at all?
Are you saying that I regularly gather with more than 1,000 people?
I'm just saying when you're in a crowd of 1,000 people, would you have done this anyway?
I mean, I'm pretty much to the point. If I'm outdoors, I don't feel the need to wear a mask unless I'm right up against a bunch of people.
1,000 people.
Yeah. 999 is okay.
That's okay.
That 1,000th is what makes the difference. But our kids our oldest is playing soccer now, so we're outdoors at the soccer games. I mean I don't wear a mask during the kids' soccer games.
How dare you, Tyler? Who do you think you are?
I know.
You know what?
Andy would be so disappointed in me, and I'm sorry, Andy, if I've let you down.
Tyler, I didn't even know this was a rule until he said that you can go do it.
Me too.
Can I be honest? I mean, when I was outside doing stuff, I never wore anything. And I saw, okay, you're allowed to do this now. Well, thanks, Captain. I had no clue. But now I know. And so as far as my daily routine, it doesn't change anything. But, I mean, I think at a certain point when you've been vaccinated, we've been through this long enough, it's like, okay, or can we just get back to it now?
Yeah.
And as a vaccinated person, I'm just sitting here. The reason I got the vaccine was so I could go do normal things again. Help me. Mm-hmm. I'm ready to roll, man.
Yeah, we're approaching. It's been about a year since this mask mandate first went into effect.
Yep.
So I think people are getting to the point where they just don't want to wear it anymore, especially outdoors.
Do you think while he was watching the Kentucky Derby, he was wringing his hands saying,
Oh,
"No,
gosh.
you darn kids, I'm going to get you. I'm going to
Can't be doing that.
Can't be doing." You think he was sweating it out? I don't know.
Well, evidently he got booed pretty hard at the Derby. I didn't hear it or see it, but I saw lots of people online talking about how he just got booed pretty hard at the Derby.
Well,
would you have booed him?
I try to stay out of it. I just don't care enough, to be honest with you. I mean, I think he's had a lot of self-inflicted wounds that just weren't necessary. Mm-hmm. I think at first, I don't want to rehash all this crap. Tyler, we've been doing it for a friggin' year. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
I think it started out okay, and I think he's just kind of kicked himself in the butt for the last 6 months. But
yeah. Well, I think it's going to be continuing for a while because we are moving at a snail's pace towards that goal of 2.5 million people that he said we had to have before getting rid of masks. We're still at 1.7, which means we still need another 700,000 people to get the vaccine.
You know those self-inflicted wounds I just talked about? that was one of them. Shouldn't have done that. Not smart.
Yeah, that's looking like a goal we may not reach.
Yeah. Make your goals attainable. That's something they tell you in business school. Make sure your goals are attainable.
That's true. That's just a good thing, good life goal there.
Yeah, what we got next time?
All right. Speaking of Kentucky, the U.S. Census Bureau released its first population data from the 2020 survey on Monday.
Uh-huh.
Now, as you may or may not know, I would assume you know this, but the number of representatives that each state gets is based upon this census data. Mm-hmm. So Kentucky is going to maintain its 6 seats in the U.S. House of Representatives. Our population is now 4.5 million, up nearly 4%. But the big winner out of all the states was Texas.
Oh, yeah.
They got to add 2 seats. And the biggest loser, I think, had to be New York. Did you see how close they were to to losing. Well, they lost a seat, but
If
you
they
see
had
how close they were.
Well,
to keeping it.
Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, Tyler.
89 people. New York lost a seat because they were 89 people short on their census.
Can I tell you what? They didn't lose a seat because they had 89 people fewer that they needed. They lost it because they're New York. And they do dumb things with their taxes and they're running people out of the state. If you're doing the right job, you don't need to come within 89 people. Let's be honest. I mean, can we be honest? Are we talking honestly here?
Of course, always.
Yeah. California, New York. People are fleeing to what state? What state? Which one picked up the most?
Texas. That would be Texas.
I'm shocked. Color me shocked that people wouldn't want to put up with that. Now, some people will. That's perfectly fine if you want to stay there. I actually like California and New York as states. I think they're great places to visit.
Yeah.
But would I live there? Heck no. No. I mean, they rake you over the coals for every dime that you make. Why would you stay there? Why? What's the point? I'd rather just go visit. You know what I mean? I'm just speaking frankly.
Yeah. So are you considering a move to Texas now? Is that what I'm hearing?
Texas is very appealing to that. I tell you what, if they, Kentucky with a 6% sales tax or state tax really kills me. Mm-hmm. If it ever moved to 7%, I'd probably move. Wow. My wife and I have talked about it. It's ridiculous. There's states with no sales tax or not sales tax, state tax. You're giving away 6% of your income every year. Mm-hmm. That's a lot. As far as I know, 6% of my paycheck's a lot.
It is. On top of what's already gone before you even get your check.
Oh, God, don't get me started, Tyler. Don't get me started. Speaking of New York, though, can we move on to the next thing?
Yeah, let's do it.
Moving on to the next thing, Tyler, New York City will be open full strength starting July the 1st with Mayor Bill de Blasio announcing the news last week. Tyler, does it surprise you that New York City is ahead of Kentucky in the race to reopen?
Going back to when New York was one of the biggest hot spots for this in the entire world at one point, that's pretty surprising. Mm-hmm. But I think there's probably a lot more pressure facing de Blasio to reopen. I mean, it's New York City, man. Like, I mean, you just can't keep it shut down. And I guess you could make that argument. Well, we can't keep Kentucky shut down either. But it's New York City. They're going to come with the pitchforks at him if he doesn't get things reopened there. So I guess in that sense, it's not as surprising.
Well, see, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not surprised because I think the governor has to double down on delaying opening. He's put all his chips in on that, so he's got to do it. That's just political play. As far as New York City is concerned, people in Kentucky don't care about New York City. Their New York City is Kentucky, right? The people that have had their businesses closed and the restaurants at 50% capacity and sometimes 33% capacity.
Yep.
I mean, they weren't built to operate that way. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get on my soapbox again. I've talked about it 500 times. But when Bill de Blasio and Governor Cuomo are opening up faster than you are, that should be a signal that, wait a minute, maybe I'm being too harsh here. Maybe I don't have to wait for another 800,000 people to be vaccinated before we move along. Correct? Because we're 800,000 people short of the goal from his ransom note of saying we have to have this before we open up.
His ransom note.
Is that correct? I mean, we have to have this. Okay, you do this, we'll open up the business. That's basically what we're dealing with. That was not a smart decision on Beshear's part. And this is one of the things that kills me because he did a good job with rolling this thing out. One of the best jobs in the country.
Oh, yeah, it was praised nationally.
Yeah, so listen to me. I give Beshear praise for getting that out. But on the other half of it, you're killing the business. You're saving lives and killing business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a tough play to be in, but I'm glad New York City's opening up because we're going there in the fall. I've already booked it.
Oh, you are?
We booked the trip. I actually planned this out. We booked the trip hoping that it would be open in the fall.
Oh, wow. That was a bit of a gamble.
It was a gamble, but you know what?
Did you get a lower rate because of that?
Oh, my God, we did. Because
nice.
We look at the prices now, it's ridiculous. But I saw that Governor Cuomo was involved in a sex scandal, and I was like, he's going to open up the state to try to distract from everybody else. We need to go ahead and book that. And lo and behold, like a month later, we're opening everything up. But everything you ever wanted to do. And everybody's like, yeah, we're back to it. And everybody's totally forgotten about Governor Cuomo.
Look at you planning ahead and seeing the future.
Hey, look, I read the tea leaves. That's what I do.
Very impressive.
That's how I roll. Tyler, what do we got next?
All right. Well, just when you thought there was nobody left for Kanye West to argue with, he is now feuding with, drumroll.
Oh, a feud with
Walmart. Walmart has filed a complaint to block Kanye's new logo because it looks too much like the one Walmart has been using since 2007. And
no way, Tyler.
Have you seen the designs? Can we put them up on the green screen?
I'll put them up on the screen, yeah.
Okay, all right. Walmart said West's design is, quote, likely to cause confusion and lead to consumer deception. West wants to use the new logo for a variety of products, including sneakers, underwear, furniture, and modular homes, of all things.
Oh my God, he's gonna be a trailer park owner. Is that what you're telling me?
Look out, Eastern Kentucky. The new line of Kanye West.
Oh my gosh.
Modular homes are coming.
Can't wait to see that.
Brandon, whose side are you on? Team Kanye or Team Walmart?
All right, so here's the deal. First of all, there's no confusion. If you're going to buy Kanye or Walmart, you know what you're getting. Those are two very different things. So I don't buy that. Now, if the photos and the logo look similar, that's something for an attorney to sort out, and they'll figure it out. There should be copyright laws, and whoever came up with that design should have maybe cross-referenced it to make sure it didn't look like a Walmart logo. Correct? Like the W in Walmart. That's what I'm assuming.
Well, clearly you have not looked at the logos.
No, I haven't.
Of the articles.
I haven't. I want to look at this.
Yeah, pull it up so that you can actually see them. So, the Walmart logo is like where it looks like a sunshine. It's kind of got a circle with 6 different rays of light coming out from it. So Kanye's, that's it.
Yeah, I see it.
Right there. So Kanye's is basically in the same format, except instead of 6 lines coming out, his has 8, and they're dotted lines instead of solid lines.
Well, that's totally different. I'm sitting here looking at it right now. That's totally different.
Yeah, I mean, Walmart's looks like a sunshine. His kind of looks like a snowflake.
Yeah, I mean, I think Walmart is a snowflake for comparing those two things because I'm sitting here looking at it right now. Those are two things you cannot trademark a line. As far as, and that's not even a line. These are dotted lines, Tyler, and there's more of them in a different pattern. How much more different can you make them?
I agree, and the fact that Walmart said, which first of all I think it's absurd that in the article it said Walmart said. I wasn't aware that Walmart now was functioning with its own opinions.
With that much money, they probably have like an automated bot or something. But so what you're saying, Tyler, is Walmart has copyrighted sunshine.
I think that's correct,
and that is frightening because I enjoy sunshine every day. When my kids are coming home with a drawing from school and they draw the Walmart logo, am I going to get like penalized or something like that?
You may. I think you're going to have to pay Walmart a tax credit,
plagiarism or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're going to have to pay them a fee for that. But I think the fact they're arguing that this is likely to cause confusion. Hey, number one, I doubt that any of Kanye West's products are going to be in Walmart, right?
Tyler, I don't know.
I mean, I would assume that everything Kanye West is going to be selling is going to be ridiculously overpriced. I mean, we're talking about sneakers, clothes, furniture. I doubt.
And modular homes. What a cross-section of Earth.
That really is.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe they're not going to be expensive things. Maybe they're going to be in a Walmart. This is probably going to eliminate him being able to sell in Walmart.
Yeah, I would say that bridge has been burnt.
Oh, that's sad. Poor Kanye. I feel so bad. Boo-hoo.
He'll just have to sell it at every other store in the world except Walmart.
Yeah,
poor guy.
He'll be fine.
All right, what we got next, sir?
Hello, boys. He's back. Tyler Randy Quaid. The actor from Independence Day, which I don't know if you noticed, I just did a reference of.
Yes,
and of course, my favorite role of his is in National Lampoon's Vacation, right? I mean,
Cousin Eddie,
you can't beat it. He says he's seriously considering a run for governor in California, along with what's the dude's name? Now
doesn't help.
The Jenner,
the dude,
the Jenner. He was
Caitlyn
Jenner. Jeez, I was sitting there. I was like, I'll never forget Caitlyn Jenner. And then I got here and I was like, what's the guy's name? Or girl's name? Jesus. Okay, I gotta shut
up. Let's edit that.
We'll edit. No, we're not going to edit.
We'll fix that. In post.
Caitlyn Jenner is also running. Tyler, what are your thoughts on Randy Quaid running? And do you think he's got a good chance of winning in a primary against Caitlyn Jenner?
Well, I'm glad you first of all clarified because I always get the Quaids mixed up. There's Randy and then what's the other one? Dennis Quaid, and he the other
Dennis
one?
Quaid, yeah.
Dennis Quaid he was in The Rookie, right?
Yeah, he was the better one. I guess. Like if you're looking at that, to me, Randy Quaid's better. But critically speaking, Dennis is a little bit better.
Yeah, I get Randy Quaid will take any role, whereas Dennis is a little more.
Dennis was in Jaws 3, so.
He was. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, thank you.
Interesting.
Yep.
I mean, why not? I mean, it's a state where Arnold Schwarzenegger was elected governor, so.
But have you seen Randy Quaid's beard lately?
It was very ZZ Top-ish and Duck Dynasty-ish.
Yeah, I know.
He's definitely got a good. I don't know how that will go over in California, looking like that. But I mean, who knows? I obviously am not the pulse of what the people in California are thinking, as evident by many of the decisions that have come out of that state in recent years.
It's an interesting place.
It is, but yeah, I mean, why not? I mean,
why not?
Just show. He saved us from the alien invasion.
He was willing to drive his plane into the ship to kill the alien.
That's right.
That's the ultimate sacrifice.
I mean, if we're looking at movie sacrifices, where somebody gave their life in a movie for the betterment, I mean, is there any movie scene where somebody made that? The only other one that comes to mind is Bruce Willis in Armageddon.
I haven't watched that, so I can't help you on that. I'm sure it's a good movie.
But also, I wanted to mention this too, since we were talking about governors.
Yep.
I was reminded this week. You remember the movie Predator?
Yes, of course.
Of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, of course.
The guy who played Billy, who also, talking about self-sacrifice in movies, he was the one who basically stood in the way of the Predator and everybody running to the chopper. Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper now. Yes.
Billy ran for governor of Kentucky in 2003. Did you remember this?
No.
I had completely forgotten about that.
I was in college at the time. I probably didn't care.
Yeah, I think we had other priorities in 2003, clearly. But that just blew my mind that I had somehow forgotten that Billy from Predator once ran for governor of Kentucky.
That's amazing.
He did not do very well.
That's all right.
But
he was in Predator, so I mean,
he was.
Good for him.
I think Randy Quaid could do better.
I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens, though. I mean, if Arnold could win in California once, who knows what could happen?
Yeah.
The state's been shut down for a year, and you don't know what could happen. People could be fed up with it. People could support it. I'm not there, so I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yep. All right, Brandon, it is now time for the story I've been looking forward to since this came out on Monday.
Tyler, I intentionally didn't read about this story because I knew you were so excited about it. I want to hear it for the first time.
Oh, you didn't read the details?
No, because when you sent it, you were so... I could tell by the tone of your text that you were so excited. So I said, you know what? I'm going to wait for Tyler to tell me on the show. So I'm waiting with bated breath.
You are going to love this, sir. All right. An Oklahoma woman discovered a 21-year-old outstanding warrant for her arrest. The crime she committed, she didn't return a copy of Sabrina the Teenage Witch sitcom starring Melissa Joan Hart to her local video store.
Oh, no way.
She rented the tape of episodes from a video store in 1999 and was charged with embezzlement of rented property and had a warrant for her arrest in 2000. And now here's the funny part. So this was 21 years ago.
Oh
she had no idea.
This is ridiculous.
So the only way she learned about the charges is that she was trying to change her name on her driver's license because she just got married. And they told her at the office, like, hey, you have a warrant for your arrest. They're doing the background check. I mean, can you imagine finding out you have a felony embezzlement charge because of a Sabrina the Teenage Witch VHS tape valued at $58.59?
Oh my gosh, this is not a real story. Is this a real story? Are you kidding?
This is real life, my man.
Because now I'm sitting here thinking about all the videos I never returned. I'm nervous. Tyler, I may have a warrant out for my arrest right now. There's a reason that I never went back to the Food City rental section.
Well, let me ask you, if you did have a warrant out for your arrest, what videotape might it be for?
Oh my God. Probably would have been for like Dumb and Dumber or something like that. I mean, I rented that quite a bit. I rented a lot of really bad horror movies, B movies. So it would probably be for that because I know I would stop going back to the Food City video department because I owed late fees. So I just stopped going because I wasn't going to pay for late fees. So basically they lost out on a ton of money from me because I owed $5 in late fees, which is eventually why the video rental industry went out of business for things like that.
So it had nothing to do with the streaming Netflix, and it was the late fees.
Oh, it was the late fees.
Oh, okay.
If Blockbuster Video was open right now, I'd go through it just so I could search behind the box to see if my movie was there. I love that feeling. There's nothing better than the feeling of going to a Blockbuster Video and seeing a row full of the picture of the video you want to see, and you're praying that when you pull it back that there's actually a copy behind it. That is the best feeling on the planet.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned this because I've been wanting to talk to you about this for a few weeks. Have you watched the Netflix documentary, The Last Blockbuster?
It's in my queue.
Oh, dude, it is so good. You've got to watch it. There is, if you've not seen or heard of it, there is still one Blockbuster Video store remaining in the world, and it's located in this town in Oregon. And it's like hugely popular there. Like people come from all over the world.
I would totally go there.
Oh, I think we need to do a Lex Bud's Pick and Roll show from the last Blockbuster.
I'm totally for it.
But I agree with the whole experience of going to a video store. It was just awesome. I mean, you've got the whole anticipation of, all right, I've got the movies in mind I want to watch. Is it going to be in?
Oh man, what a feeling!
And then you've got the excitement of it if it is versus the disappointment of when it's not. And it was a whole experience. You've got just the smell of plastic when you walk in.
It's great.
The smell of like candy and popcorn, and it was a whole thing. Like you're going out on a date, and you really learn a lot about the person you're dating based upon what movies they're picking in the Blockbuster.
What do you think your date said about you, Tyler?
That's probably why I was unable to keep girlfriends for very long.
I know, it's like, why are we watching Redneck Zombies 3, Tyler? This is really strange.
Don't judge me.
Yeah, don't judge me. I love the feeling. And you know what my favorite part was when I couldn't find my movie, I would go to the front desk and say, hey, did anybody just return a copy of Ferris Bueller's Day Off or whatever I was trying to look for? And the guy goes through, he's like, oh, wait, I got a copy. It just came in. And you felt like you had hit gold. You felt like those miners back in the 1800s that struck gold in San Francisco and California. That was the gold rush to me.
You would. Like if you saw a customer come in and return something, be like, hey, what did they just bring back? Or if they had a big stack of movies behind the counter, like, can I go through those? Can I see what's...
Yeah, go for it, man. Okay, thanks.
But going back to Sabrina the Teenage Witch, does it get more embarrassing? Or were you a big Sabrina the Teenage Witch fan?
Never watched it.
What? What do you mean you never?
I've never watched an episode.
You never watched one episode? It was on TGIF.
No, that's around the time I stopped watching TGIF. Yeah, I didn't watch it at all.
Dude, that's disappointing.
Yeah, never watched it at all.
What are your top 4 or 5 TGIF shows?
Oh, well, I mean, first of all, you got Full House.
Yeah.
You got Family Matters.
Yeah.
Step by Step, highly underrated. I absolutely loved Perfect Strangers.
Oh, that was
one of the originals.
That was in the late 80s.
And I'm going to throw out Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Good one.
Yeah.
I think I would go Boy Meets World 1. I actually agree with you on Step by Step. I'd probably put it 2.
Highly underrated.
Favorite. I love Step by Step.
Yeah.
Then I'd probably go Family Matters and Full House in some order. But, I mean, I would put, after those 4, I put Sabrina right up there. I like Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
That's ridiculous.
I mean,
that's ridiculous.
It's just a great story. You've got a teenager who's dealing with all the typical problems of a teenager, and then she also learns she's a witch. I mean, it's as if the struggle of your teenage years isn't enough. You have to deal.
Now,
with...
I watched Melissa Joan Hart in Clarissa Explains It All, and that was a good show. Mm-hmm. So I'll just stick with that. I like my Melissa Joan Hart as Clarissa.
Well, it's basically the same show as that, only she had magical powers.
Okay, well that sounds like a great twist on the show. Tyler, first of all, before we get to segment 3 and we talk about the top-ranked players in the John Calipari era at UK, we did want to mention that there are still opportunities for sponsorship for the show, segments, or our website, to be frank. And we do appreciate the folks that have reached out to us so far about advertising, and we're still looking over those. But we did want to make sure that everybody knows that there's still opportunities. Our Facebook views are in the hundreds of thousands now. We get podcast downloads. We get video downloads. We're all over the place. So if you want to hear your name mentioned on our website, hear our name mentioned on a website doesn't make any sense. If you want to hear our name mentioned at the show at the beginning during a certain segment, let us know. I mean, we're still interested in hearing from everyone.
Yeah, we're definitely flexible. If you want to sponsor a segment, a particular segment, or something that we do, we are very flexible and can work with you on price and what it is exactly you want to do. So
yeah, I mean, we're just starting to get into the sponsorship era, right? I mean, we've been doing this for a year. We wanted to establish ourselves first, which I think we did, and we're pretty open. We're flexible, like you said, and we'll try to build something that's best for you and your needs, and hopefully just grow your business, make you some money, and we're all happy.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win-win because you're happy, I'm happy, and they're happy.
Yeah,
so that's 3 wins.
Thank you, Michael Scott.
Yeah, no problem. But all that to say, contact us. You can send me an email, brandon@lexbuds.com, or you can send us a private message on Twitter, Facebook, whatever you want to do, and reach out that way.
Yes, we look forward to hearing from you.
You know what I look forward to hearing about, Tyler?
What is that?
This last segment. So you sent me, Tyler, you floored me on this one. You sent me an email. I wasn't ready for you. You got to warn people when you do stuff like this.
Okay. My bad.
Okay, you sent me an email, and you said, hey, I'm thinking about making this an article for the website. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, I'll click on it and read it. I said, Tyler, how come you didn't tell me you were working on this? This is absolutely ridiculous. Basically, you went through, we've done some brackets on this show. We've done our fast food bracket. We did our Sweet 16 candy bracket, which was awesome. I think it went really well. But you put together a 68 person tournament of all the players in the Calipari era. You ranked them all, listed their seeds, and you even included people that didn't make it and were in the NIT.
That's right. I analyzed every player, so I took a list of every player from 2010 to 2021 through this last season, and basically put them in different seed lines. So I imagine myself being the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee. I went through every player, put them in what seed from 1 to 16 that I felt they should be in, and then I just started filling in the bracket from there.
Tyler, this is unbelievable. So we're recording this on a Sunday. We'll probably have the full article on the seeds and everything Monday or Tuesday of this week. It'll be up. So we'll have all the seeds listed, which I'm looking at right now. And it's just amazing. The work that you put on in this is ridiculous. And what you've done is you've broken this up into 4 different regions based on the number 1 seeds. Tyler, do you want to break down the number 1 seeds? Because you don't usually have the South bracket, the West bracket, the East bracket, things like that. You've broken it down into player brackets based on the top 4 seeds. So you want to reveal your top 4 players in the Calipari era at Kentucky.
All right, let's do it. I'll give you my top 4. You tell me if you disagree, and everybody listening, tell me if you disagree. Who would you have as the top 4? These are also in no particular order. So I didn't actually rank each player 1 through 68. I just did, all right, these are the top 4 guys. These are the next top 4 guys. So these are in no particular order. For the number 1 overall seeds, players of the John Calipari era. Number 1, I got John Wall.
Okay,
Change the program. Number 1 pick in the NBA draft.
Decent player.
Not bad.
Decent, yeah.
Number 2, from the same team, I went with DeMarcus Cousins. Basically got all the same awards that John Wall did. I mean, they were both first team everything that year. Number 3, I think there's no debate about this one. I don't think you can make any argument for Anthony Davis not being a 1 seed. Had arguably the greatest season in the history of college basketball.
Yeah, no kidding.
So he's got to be a 1.
Yep.
I will hear arguments for the other 3, but Anthony Davis, I don't think you can make an argument.
And who's your 4th number 1?
And now my 4th, this is probably going to stir the cauldron a little bit.
Oh,
I am Sabrina the Teenage Witch stirring the cauldron.
See how we called back to the show? That's very good, Tyler. I like
that. Number 4, I'm going with Tyler Ulis as the 4th 1 seed.
So Tyler Ulis, in your opinion, is one of the top 4 players in the Calipari era.
It is. Now, here was the criteria. It is only what they did while they were at Kentucky. This does not project to what they did in the NBA or what they're doing now. This is only from their time as a Cat. And let me say, this was very, very difficult because how do you compare like the 4-year players like Alex Poitras?
Or Darius Miller.
Darius Miller. How do you compare those guys to somebody who's only here for 1 year but had maybe a good or mediocre, like a Devin Booker, for example?
Yeah.
Like he was good, but those other guys were also good, but they were here 4 years. So it's very challenging. And then do you reward say, Devin Booker because he was on a very good team, the 2015 team. So maybe he didn't have as good numbers as he could have had, whereas, say, Davion Mintz, who had great numbers because he was on a terrible team and he was the only person who could do anything.
Yeah.
So it really is, difficult to make all those factors fit in. So again, this was my opinion, is what I valued more in all these. So I'm interested to hear, Brandon.
Well,
based upon that, what do you disagree with?
Well, first of all, let me say this: when you click on Tyler's article, which you've got to click on, it lists all the seed lines out and the 4 players within each seed line. And you've even got it down to the number 16 seeds, Tyler, for the play-in games. Okay? I want to list these play-in games for everybody.
Okay.
So for the play-in games, to get to the first round, you've got Ramon Harris versus Quade Green. Mm-hmm. I mean, Razor Ramon. How do you beat that? You've got Lance Ware versus Sasha Kalea-Jones. You've got Johnny Juzang versus Devin Askew, and Isaac Humphries versus Wenyan Gabriel, which I think is a little controversial, being a little bit lower. Some of the players that didn't make it are in the NIT.
Yeah, so those were the last 8 in. These are the players, because I went through every player in the Cal era, so these are the ones who did not make the cut.
Yeah, who didn't make the cut, Tyler? Why don't you tell us?
All right, we got Stacy Poole, Khalil Whitney, Ty Wynyard, Jared Polson, John Hood, Eloy Vargas, Charles Matthews, Jamaro Baker, Cameron Fletcher, Daniel Orton, Ryan Harrell, Jared Vanderbilt, and Michael Mulder. So that's your NIT bracket there.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Now, when I'm looking at this, Tyler, and I'm going to look at this assuming that people are going to lexbuds.com and clicking on your article and checking this out. When I'm looking at this, I got to say the Tyler Ulis pick, although he was a great point guard, when I think of best players, I do not think of Tyler Ulis. I mean, I think of him in one of the top 3 to 4 seeds. But in my opinion, he's not a number 1 seed. I would have went with like a Karl Anthony Towns or a Jamal Murray or a De'Aaron Fox.
Okay.
In my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, fair.
But part of this is also everything's up for debate. We want you all to check out the article and let us know what you think as well, because, Tyler, you put an ungodly amount of hours or amount of time into this.
Yeah, it was a labor of love, no doubt.
Yeah, so now, like I mentioned earlier, so there's going to be a John Wall bracket, a DeMarcus Cousins bracket, an Anthony Davis bracket, and a Tyler Ulis bracket. And within each of those, you're going to have, just like you would with an NCAA tournament bracket, you're going to have your top 16 seeds. It's going to break down, and we're going to crown a winner at the end of this.
That's right.
This is going to be pretty intense. So, what do you think about going through the first bracket, Tyler? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I didn't know we were doing this.
Do you want to do that, or do you want to save that for next week? I'm going to leave it up to you, since you're the one that produced this work of magic here. What do you want to do?
How are we doing on time? Where are we at?
We're a little less than an hour. We got like 3 minutes left. Do you want to save this for the next show?
I think we let people look it over, give people a chance to look at it and kind of form their opinions.
Fair enough.
And then we can come back and then they can be like, these Brandon and Tyler are idiots for picking.
We hear that all the time anyway, so that's nothing unusual. Anytime you want to do that, remember, just send it on at LexBuds on Twitter. You can tell us we're idiots. We don't care.
Absolutely. Now, let me give you the case for Tyler Ulis.
I can't wait to hear this, Tyler.
He won the Cousy Award for best point guard in the country that year. John Wall did not win the Cousy Award. De'Aaron Fox did not win the Cousy Award.
Okay.
Brandon Knight, nope. Tyler Ulis won the Cousy.
Okay. I hear you.
Which they should give a koozie for the Cousy Award.
Oh, boy. But, I just think when I think of Karl Anthony Towns, I mean, he was the anchor for that team, for the best team that we ever had. Mm-hmm. He single-handedly helped us beat LSU and Georgia in that year. Other than that, we're not even talking undefeated during that season. He got a lot better, and he was the number 1 pick in the draft for a reason. Mm-hmm. He was not projected that way until he had an awesome year in college. So I would put him in there. Jamal Murray, every time he shot it, I thought it was going in, to be honest with you. And De'Aaron Fox basically made Lonzo Ball look like an idiot in the tournament. So that, for me, that puts him closer to the 1 seed line on that one. But I get it. One of the interesting ones, Emmanuel Quickley, SEC Player of the Year, you've got on the 4 seed line, which on the surface, when you say it out loud, sounds absolutely ridiculous. Right? When you say it out loud.
Yeah, we've not had too many SEC Player of the Years.
SEC Player of the Year on the 4 seed line. But then you think, okay, well, why is he on the 4th seed line? Well, it's because Julius Randle, De'Aaron Fox, Jamal Murray, Deron Lamb, Willie Cauley-Stein, Brandon Knight, Karl Anthony Towns, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, and the 4 number 1 seeds are in front of him.
That's like, who you going to put him above out of that? It's hard. This is really hard.
Yeah, you can't. You know what I mean? I mean, that is what it is. Looking at this, though, when you look at all the talent that we've had, one of the first things I thought after I read your article and saw this breakdown was, how do we only have one title? We've had all these guys come through here, like superstars, ridiculous. And you're like, how do we only get one? You just think at luck of the draw, you have this much talent, you would get more than one. Yeah. Was that just me, or did you think this while you were making this up?
No, and then the other interesting thing is that if we're looking at players from this past season, I don't have anybody on last year's roster in the top 8 seeds.
Yeah.
So so in my mind, nobody on last year's team was even in the top half of players that we've had in the Calipari era. Not one.
Yeah. But
which would explain why we struggled so much.
That explains a whole lot, to be honest. But we're going to be going through this over the next few weeks. I think it would be safe to say there's a lot of work to do. We're going to make sure that we get through this bracket because, I mean, this is going to be fun. This is something I haven't really seen this done anywhere, so I'm excited to go through it. So is there anything else you wanted to cover on this? I feel like we've wrapped everything up in a nice bow and gave the people some homework, which is to click on your article, check out the bracket, and form your own opinions. Let us know what you think on social media.
Exactly. Tell us who you'd have in your Final Four. Tell us who we've got overseeded, who we've got underseeded. I think this could make some really good debate and discussion, and I want people to tell me how dumb I am. Really,
yeah. I would love for people to tell Tyler how dumb he is. That would make my day. Or you can tell me either one. But let's be honest, we're going through a period here where we're not going to have a lot of sports talk. This is a way to keep that going for the next few weeks. Talk to your friends at work. Let them know that we're idiots, or let them know why you think that your picks are best. I'm just curious to see if people are on the same wavelength that you are with our players.
Yeah, and I think we'll probably maybe even put some matchups up for vote on Twitter and on Facebook.
Oh, it's going to happen.
So make sure you're following us on all our social media so that you can have your voice heard.
Absolutely. So on Twitter at LexBuds, YouTube LexBuds, Facebook LexBuds. It's like that Bugs Bunny episode. First base, Bugs Bunny. Second base, Bugs Bunny. Third base, Bugs Bunny. That's going back a little ways, but I love that episode.
Very nice.
But, just type LexBuds into your internet or Google machine, and you will find us guaranteed. I think this has been a very fun episode. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming up with this bracket alone over the next few weeks. So if you haven't subscribed to our podcast, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Give us a 5-star review because we're a 5-star show. I'm just going to go out and say it. We're a 5-star show. This is look, I'm writing it right here, 5 stars.
5 stars. That's more than any point guard recruits we have for next year.
Ooh, that stings. That's.
I mean, it's kind of like Wayne's World. We don't even have a point guard.
Little mini point guards that would necessitate a championship level team.
Yeah,
wow,
exactly.
But been a fun show, Tyler. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think you covered everything. I'm going to need you before next week to watch Armageddon and at least one episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch on YouTube.
Tyler, I've went 25 years without Armageddon. Probably not going to happen, and I don't even know where to find Sabrina the Teenage Witch, so probably not going to happen either, but I will make the empty promise to you that I will do both.
Okay, sounds
good. All right. Well, it's been fun, and we will see you on the next episode.
Stay classy, Kentucky.